On today's video, I am going to be showing you my new organizational tool for all of my supplies, and I am going to be finishing up some projects that I started. I am going to be revamping one project that I already made over, and I'm going to be finalizing a few items, including a table and some artwork for sale in my booth. Y'all, let's go ahead and get started. I am so excited to share with you what my husband brought home for me to help organize my paints and supplies. So this is called a Flex Stack Pack, and it comes in 3 different sections. It's heavy duty and it is on wheels, so it's mobile and you can move it around easily. You can take apart the different sections as needed, and I think you can even put a basket on top of it that my husband had previously purchased for me. So it's got these really heavy duty, nice latches on there that you can just open up, and then it attaches securely to each other. So I was able to put in a ton of supplies in this. The top one, I put in the things that I use all the time, such as my paintbrushes, my waxes, my sealers, my brayer, my sandpaper, and just the normal items that I use on all of my projects. So I'm going to show you one by one what each container holds, and I think that you will really like this idea, and I know it's going to help me a lot because I can just wheel it around, keep it in my garage, or wherever I'm working on my project. I can just take it with me, take it outside, inside, or whatever, and I'll always know where my stuff is, because that's one of my problems, is I don't always know where my stuff is, and it's very, very frustrating. So you see, it's got wheels right there, really heavy duty wheels, and a handle, and you can just wheel it around. So I want to show you inside of each one of these containers. So this is the first container that I was talking about. So you can see it's got 4 side containers. The top 2 are sectioned off, and they fit the little sample sizes of wax and things like that just perfectly. I also have my IOD ink pads in there, and my ink, and different, my brush cleaner. I have some foil adhesive, my big top, my liquid patina. Maybe I have my big top in the lowercase, I can't remember. But basically I have all of my go-to supplies right here. I've got some hemp oil right there, and then I've got my DIY brushes, the ones that are dry, over here on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, this is where I keep some of my other different waxes and things. And then underneath there is another compartment for my paintbrushes, and I have my Stahlmeister paintbrushes under there on that side. But I am just so excited to have this. This is going to make a huge difference in my life. There you go. There's some of my paintbrushes. I still have some by my sink. They're drying, but when I have them all ready and dried out, I'll put them back in this container. So this is the second container, and I have my DIY paint, my spray bottle, some prep stuff, some cleaner. Oh, there is my big top. And underneath here, I have all of my Rethunk Junk paint samples right there. So it's really a big container. This is a large size container. It fits a lot of paint. I still have some paint out in the garage that I need to add to this. So what y'all may not know is that my husband owns a detail supply company that sells all kinds of car wash supplies, detailing supplies. He sells them all over the United States, all over Georgia, and also internationally. So he sells these containers in his store. And then this section right here is where I have some milk paint, and then I have a bunch of my fusion paints and some different things. I have quite a bit more fusion paint than this I need to put in here. I just haven't gotten that out of the garage. But he tells me if you'd like to purchase one of these containers and you are local to the area, we are in Beaufort, Georgia, you can come to our store and he can sell you one of these containers. I believe he said they're around $250, but I'm going to tell y'all what, they are heavy duty, they will last forever, and they are amazing. You can also pick up Fusion paint. That's where I sell my Fusion paint. It's at our store Detail Link in Beaufort, Georgia, right by the Mall of Georgia, just on the other side of the highway or the interstate. And I also sell my IOD products Iron Orchid Design products there, and also my Whimsykel products. So if you're in the area and you want any of those items or this container, storage container, I would highly recommend it because I know it's going to make a huge difference in my life, and I thought that I would share this with you. I think it's so cool, and I'm so excited. You know, you've reached a certain age when this container is really making you happy and excited. So if you think my husband did good for giving this to me, I didn't even know I needed it or wanted it. He just brought it home for me. Give him a shout out. His name is Brian. I think he'd really appreciate hearing from you guys. I think he'd get a kick out of that. And here he is. He's working really hard for me. He's taking all of my IOD products, Iron Orchid Design products, the new spring release to our store detail link for sale. It will be available on February 13th. I am so excited about that new reveal. Y'all are going to love it. I have been working on projects all weekend, and I can't wait to share those with you. I think that you are absolutely going to love this new spring release, and I cannot wait to share the new release with you. But for now, let's get started making over a few projects. Hello, I'm Emily with J. Bowen & Company. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. We are going to make over just a few things. I'm trying to just make over a few things that were either in my booth or I've had over around my house. Y'all look at me. I look ridiculous in this mirror. It looks so funny. But anyway, so this is a mirror I had in my booth that I had made over several years ago, probably 3 years ago, in this gray color. It didn't sell. So I thought that I would give it a fresh new makeover, and I think I'm going to keep it once it's done. So what I did is I took out my little black dress DIY paint. It's a clay-based paint, and I gave it a quick coat of paint. This particular paint is going to need a sealer on top of it because it does not have a sealer. If you don't put a sealer on it, then it could just wash off with water. It can be activated with water. After the paint was completely dry, and I mean completely dry, it's been drying for several weeks now, I went ahead and took out my metallic bronze paint from Fusionmineralpaint. All along I was going to paint this mirror gold, but for some reason I decided to go with that bronze color. But once I painted it, it just looked a little too, kind of had a green undertone to it. And I love the metallic bronze when I'm painting things brass, but this didn't look quite as gold as I wanted it to look. So after I had painted a coat of the metallic bronze, I then took out my golden ticket from DIY and I gave it a coat of paint from the golden ticket DIY paint. Now that paint has a sealer in it, so this will not need to be sealed. However, after it does dry, I'm going to go back with some dark wax and go on top of it just to give it a more aged look. Now, having all these different layers is actually really good for a gold mirror because it gives it different dimension and it just makes the gold look that much better. We are actually getting a new cooktop stove installed right now, so I'm just talking away to the guys that are installing it. So that's why I'm just yapping away on the mirror reflection. Anyway, once we get this golden ticket on, I like this color better for this particular project. We are then going to take out some dark wax and we're going to wax it just to give it a little bit more dimension, and it will just give one more layer of protection. Now I'm just adding dark wax from DIY. I'm just going to cover the frame of this mirror with the DIY dark wax, and then I'm just going to wipe it away, and it's just going to give it a more aged look. It's going to get down there in those crevices, and it's just going to look just a little bit better with just a little bit more character. Y'all remember, if you want to pick any of this stuff up, any of these products, y'all can just go into my description and I'll have all these products linked in my description for you to purchase if you so choose. So what do y'all think about this mirror? What do you think about this gold look with the aged wax? Do you like it? I think it's looking pretty good. I think I will keep it. I am going to have a whole wall of vintage mirrors. I have quite a few of them already, and I just need to hang them all up and get them all ready. And then I just took out my little handy scraper and I'm scraping along the edge just to get that excess paint off. And I'm not going to show you all that. That would be boring. I think y'all get the hint of that, the point of that. But y'all stick around. Y'all have got to see the last projects. You're going to love them. This video is definitely different than my other videos. Most of mine have a little bit more of a theme, but I'm just trying to knock some things out and get them finished. So what do y'all think about this mirror? Give me a thumbs up if you like it. If you've not subscribed, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. I've almost reached 4,000 subscribers, so if you can help me reach my goal, I would really appreciate that. And I'd love to hear from you, so leave me a comment, and I promise that I'll get back to you. The next project is this toolbox that I had in my kitchen a while, and then I had decided to paint it, and I never finished it, and it had been in my garage, so I decided to give it a makeover. So I cleaned it up really good, and then I took out this DIY paint in the color Eden. It's one of the brand new colors from DIY Paint. This is a clay-based paint. So the first thing I did is I just stirred it up, and then I'm going to give it a coat of paint. This piece was originally this kind of an orangey wood color, and so that's why I decided to paint it, because I just gotten tired of that color. I had it in my kitchen for a long time with some herb plants in there, and it was really cute, but I just decided to give it a paint job. This is a really large toolbox. I don't know if you can tell, but it's actually really big. So this is the Eden paint. It's a really pretty color. It's a dark green. This paint is highly pigmented, so you're going to get a lot of color. I always start with the bottom, so that when you turn it over, it doesn't mess up the top part if it's already been painted. So you want to start at the bottom. I'm dipping my paintbrush into some water because the paint is so thick that it was just actually kind of hard to get it on because the paint was thick. I wanted to just loosen up the paint a little bit or make it a little bit more liquidy so it painted on a little bit easier. I end up giving this piece 2 coats of paint. The reason I initially wanted to paint it was because I wanted it to store some of my, I'm not even sure what they're called, but these big spools of thread. I'm sure there's a more official name for it, but it's like kind of yarn and string and stuff like that. I have some really large ones, so I thought that it would be good for that. And I'm going to show you in the end that I'm using it for that initially. However, I think I'm going to actually put it in my windowsill and store some miscellaneous stuff like medicine and just miscellaneous things that are in my kitchen. I'm going to store it in my windowsill. You won't be able to see the contents of it, and it will hide our daily medications. And then just the extra things that are in your kitchen that you need but you don't necessarily want to see. And I may showcase this on an upcoming video. I may use one of the new transfers on this piece. It won't be in the next video because that one is just about finished and it's already long enough. I wanted to show you a lot of the different new release items for my OD, but I think I'm going to have to make multiple videos because I just can't fit them in. There are 17 products, including transfers, stamps, some of those 4x4 stamps. There are some paint inlays, molds, there's all kinds of things, and that's just a lot of products to fit into one video. So here I am just spraying down the paint a little bit. This paint is water activated, or you can reactivate it with water, and it just kind of loosens it up. With this raw wood, it catches a little bit when you paint on it, but it covers so good. And I'm just using that little short paintbrush to get up in the harder to reach areas, because with the longer paintbrush, the long end of the paintbrush kind of hits that handle. So this little small paintbrush is really good for that. I ended up wiping a little bit back just to distress it a little bit because I knew that it would probably get dinged up anyway, because it's going to be used by me and my husband and my 3 children. So, you know, it's better to have a few little dings up front than perfect and it look like it's messed up. DIY paints require a sealer, and one of the sealers that they have is called Big Top. It's very easy to apply. You just brush it on just like you're painting it. It richens the color up, it darkens it up a bit, and then it will seal it and protect it so that it cannot be reactivated with water. I'm going to just show you this little bit. I don't think you need to see me applying this big top to this entire piece. So let's move on to the final reveal, and this is how it looks now, holding those spools of thread. I know I don't know if you call it skeins, or I'm not really sure. What do you call these things that are in this toolbox? If you like how this toolbox turned out, give me a thumbs up. The next project is this table that I purchased for $3 at the half off thrift store. It was in pretty rough shape. I'm sure they thought I was crazy for purchasing it, but I did. So I purchased it and I brought it home. I gave it a quick cleanup and I took out my Willowbank paint from Fusionmineralpaint. I love this color. It is a cool color. I debated between painting this either black or this Willowbank color, but I decided to go with the blue because it's just fun and something different. I'm going to put a Whimsykel paper on the top of this table. I noticed when I saw this table that it was the perfect size for a 1/2 sheet. This paint has a built-in sealer, built-in top coat, so you don't have to seal it, and it has a built-in primer and it's self-leveling. Here is that cool dog paper that I used. It is 21 inches by 29 inches. It has 2 separate dog images that you can use. I'm going to use one on this table, and that's why I purchased the table. It was the perfect size for a Whimsykel paper, for half of a paper. And then I'm going to use the other image on a canvas. I think this table turned out really cool. The name of the paper is Newsprint Boys. It's one of the new releases from January. I hope you like it, and I hope you like the canvas as well. What do you think of the Willowbank paint? Do you like that color? I think it complements this paper really well, and it looks good. I think it's a little bit more fun than just black, but black would have been a good color to choose as well if you wanted to go a little bit on the safer side. Which one of these projects was your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Also, remember, if you want to pick up any of these products, you can go to my website. It'll be in the description, and you can check out the links to all these items. I'm going to leave you with Sunset Hideaway. It's another one of the papers and one of the canvases I just finished. Y'all, if you haven't checked out my latest video, I'd love for you to check it out. And thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget, February 13th, the new IOD release. Can't wait. Leave me a heart emoji if you watched this far in my video. And thank you so much for all of your support. It means a lot to me.